Before we go deep, I just wanted to, I know you've been on a book tour with this recently. How's it been received so far? And has anything surprised you? What kind of messages are you getting back from people who've been reading it?
It's been extremely well received, which is always very, very gratifying. It's been received in the way that I intended it as well. A lot of people are posting very positive reviews saying, I read this book, it was hard, it didn't feel good, but in a good way, sort of thing. Like this book really made me think. I'm getting so many messages, and this really, it was doubled down. Last weekend, I led a retreat, like an in-person Women Without Kids retreat. And they all reflected back to me in person as well, which is just, thank you so much for making me feel less alone and less strange, and for helping me to make sense of what have been maybe some of the more confusing aspects of this orientation. I honestly am thinking about it more and more this way. Being a woman without kids is an orientation, and so, yeah, I've been getting lots of messages along those lines of just, thank you. This feels like you're speaking the words that have been reverberating around my head for the past decade. As people try and grapple with that same question, why don't I want to have children? Why haven't I been able to make it happen? What will my life be like if I don't have children? How will my life play out as somebody who doesn't have children? All really big existential questions, and there's so little literature in this realm. I think people are just very grateful to finally have somewhere to actually bring all of this into their consciousness. One thing that surprised me, which also has been very gratifying, is a lot of reviews and messages I get on social media specifically say everybody should read this book. Now, of course, every author wants to hear that, but specific to this book, I think it's very interesting that people are saying this isn't just a book for women without kids. This is a book for mums. This is a book for men. This is a book for everybody to read, actually, because it gets into so much of what's actually at the heart of not just the human condition, but the social conditions that are actually shaping our world and our choices at this, what feels like a quite pivotal point in human development. And I say that because of issues with climate, huge political unrest, the big push for, a new model of the social justice movement, even development of AI. All of these sorts of things are really reshaping society. And actually, the question of whether or not to have a child is deeply interwoven into a lot of these really big picture issues. And so, yes, there have been, of course, there are lots of people, not lots, but there are some people who just want to put this in the sort of like, oh, women's issues. Oh, nobody cares if you don't want kids. Just why do you have to let everyone know you don't want kids? We honestly don't care. We just don't care. And I'm like, oh yeah, but this conversation is so much bigger than whether or not I want to have a child. It actually really gets into some deep areas, which I hope people who have read the book can appreciate too. So I'm grateful that readers have been sort of putting that message out there as well.